Welcome to the Small Scape. Today we are talking 5 things that I personally think that every fish keeper should know or be able to answer. Okay, so disclaimer, these are 5 things that I feel that every fish keeper should be able to answer. I'm going to include a couple of bonuses at the end after like what I consider the biggest one. I'm going to leave that towards the end. But not only should you know these things to be able to converse with other fish keepers, with prospective fish keepers, I call them suckers. You know, people in your family, your friends that you really want to suck into the hobby, that you really think they would enjoy an aquarium. You should know these things so that you can answer questions and you can, lure them into the hobby. And then also just so you can have success in your fish keeping hobby. Number 1, how to set up a new tank. You might be like, well, yeah, of course you should know how to set up a new tank, otherwise you're not a fish keeper. Not necessarily. When you start off in the hobby, like I did, I had a lot of help. Mr. Primetime helped me a lot. Until I knew how to set up an aquarium from start to finish, I didn't really feel like a real fish keeper. So you should be able to do that. You should understand the cycle, what needs to be done. When we're kicking off a brand new aquascape, we set up a brand new tank. We use Fritzheim 7. We are sponsored by Fritz, but that can give you a quick start, believe it or not, to an aquarium. There are rules around that. You need very light stocking. There's, certain parameters you need to stay in with, but you need to know how to cycle an aquarium, set up an aquarium. What do you need? A heater, filtration, all that stuff. You should really know how to do that all by yourself. Number 2, you should know your own water. This is going to come up when you're talking to other people. When you have a question, that's probably what somebody is going to ask you. Well, what's your water parameters? What is that? That needs to know what's your water hardness. Is it soft water? Do you have hard water? And then what's your GH, your KH? You should be able to answer all of that, because then they can tell you, well, those fish really don't do well in hard water or soft water. Same thing with plants, aquatic plants. If you keep them, they're going to have their own little requirements and parameters that they are just not going to do well in. And then also you need to know how to test your water, because and then also how do you use the kit, how do you read the kit, because if you say you get a fish from a fish store and the fish immediately dies and they have a return policy, you bring them back with a sample of the water, what are they going to find out? You need to know that first and say, well, my water is fine, I tested it, this is what I got. You need to understand all of that so that your little fishies do well, and so do you. Number 3, I'm going to qualify this. You should know basic plant info. Now, if you do not keep aquatic plants, which to be a fish keeper, you do not need aquatic plants, like fresh, real aquatic plants. You don't need it. You can use fake plants. Everybody uses fake plants when you start off in the hobby. Some people just continue using fake plants. There is nothing wrong with it. If you don't keep real aquatic plants, you can just go on to number 4. We'll see you there. All right, if you're still here, basic plant info. All you really need to know when you're starting out, or just in the back of your head, the basics. What's the difference? Certain plants need to be planted below the substrate. Other ones you attach above the substrate. They don't need to be planted in there. They can be attached to driftwood, rocks, what have you. They can float. They can just hang out really anywhere in the aquarium. You need to know that there is a difference, and whatever plant you're keeping, you just need to know which kind it is, so that you know whether or not it's going to survive or not for you. And then also, what's the difference between easy, intermediate, and advanced plants? Basically, the easy ones you can grow pretty much with any kind of little light that comes with a kit. It doesn't need anything extra. When I say extra, that would mean higher light and or CO2 piped into your aquarium. So your fancier plants, the ones that are going to grow really fast and get red coloring, those you're going to need more stuff. They're going to need more knowledge, more experience, just a fancier kind of setup, might you say. And that would be the intermediate and advanced. Are there rule breakers there? Yeah, there are a lot of easy plants that you can try. They will die on you. Maybe they just don't like your water. Sometimes it's just a weird thing where certain plants and people just don't match. But Just those basics will get you started. Number 4, I really think you should be able to answer what is the smallest tank that you would recommend and why. Just generally speaking, what is the smallest tank? I might say a 2-gallon, only for shrimp. I might say a 1-gallon, maybe for shrimp, but usually just plants. For a betta, might want to give that some thought. I used to say like a 2.5. Now I kind of prefer a 5 for a single betta. Just keep that in mind. What is the smallest tank? If somebody asks you, you should probably, and then just have a reason why. My reason that I don't like anything under a 5 for, say, a betta is just because it's very boring. It just seems really boring for the betta. I know bettas grow up and they come from puddles and all that. I just think it's kind of boring for them, and it's kind of boring for me just to watch them go from, like, you know, a very small little space. You wanna give up more swimming space. It's just more fun for everybody. That's my reason. Number 5, I really do think this is the most important thing that every fish keeper should know. Where should you go to get answers that you don't have? Every fish keeper, no matter how long you've been keeping fish, whether it's 1 day or 10 years, you will still have questions. Where do you go to get your answers? Say you have, you want to get a new fish. What's the smallest tank you can keep it in? What other fish can you keep it with? Can you keep it with other fish? What kind of activity level do they have? Are they going to eat your other fish? All these things, you need to know where to go. Do you go to the internet? Do you go to YouTube? Do you go to your plant friend, or your fish friend, your fish keeping friend that suckered you into the hobby? Do you go to the pet store? Maybe not. What I would recommend is you find multiple sources that say the same thing. Don't just type it into Google, because Google comes up with the dumbest answers that are just, they're not it. Find multiple sources. Even big YouTube channels sometimes can give answers where I'm like, really? They quite possibly do know a lot. Most of them do know a lot of stuff. But even if I say something, double check it. Double check it with other sources. You may actually have a different opinion than me. That's totally fine. And here's a couple of bonus things if you're still here. If you are, put in a green heart. Let me know you're still here. All right, bonus number 1. You should be able to answer, what do you prefer, freshwater or saltwater? You may be like, well, it's dumb. I'm watching you, so it's probably freshwater. Maybe, maybe not. A lot of you may keep both. You may, might be thinking about one or the other, like switching or adding, what have you. But also, I think you should know why. Well, why do you like freshwater, like versus saltwater, vice versa? Personally, for me, I like freshwater. I do not like saltwater. A, because it makes me angry that all the stores carry like merchandise for saltwater fish. They have pictures, and they have ornaments, and they have doodads and bric-a-brac for saltwater fish. It makes me angry. So there's that, which is dumb, I know. But also because of the colors. Just the saltwater colors just really don't go with anything anywhere around here. I'm kind of a natural color sort of person. Calm and greens, browns, like off-whites, just really kind of mellow, that match the freshwater like color schemes. I do like brightly colored fish, but they go nicely with freshwater aquariums. I love freshwater locations as well. I mean, can you imagine just picture yourself by a beautiful little stream? Love it. Or by a pond or a lake. Love it. But I really base my love because that's what goes with everything around it. And I really think an aquarium should go with your decor, or you should like it in your decor. Even if you like saltwater, as long as you like it in your decor, there you go. You're all set. And the last thing that I think you should be able to know or answer, and it's a 3-parter. You should be able to tell anybody what is your favorite fish, your favorite aquatic plant, if you keep them, and your favorite tank size. Not only are you going to have these answers already if you're talking to another fish keeper, or just, you know, at a show, at an aqua show, you should know these things. It'll also help you be more successful, because, I'll get to that. Favorite fish. Everybody knows my favorite fish if you've been watching for any time, like more than a day. It's the green neon. Why? Well, I typically root for the underdog. It's just my thing. It's what I do. So the fact that it was common and people would say, well, you can't have that as your favorite fish. It's like everybody has it. So what? It is my favorite fish. I don't care if everybody has it because everybody should have the green neon. And it's also an underdog because most people prefer the cardinal or the standard. Well, they can have them because I want the green neon. I think they're more beautiful. I don't need any red to be like popping out at me. I'll take their beautiful shades of greens, blues, and purples because they're stunning. They look like little gems in the water. I'll stop talking about green neon, but you should know your favorite fish. It's just fun to know. And it can help you pick out other favorite fish, I think. So the qualities that you like about that fish, you will probably like about other fish. Now, green neons don't really like zoom around the tank. They don't have like crazy energy levels like the Danios. They're a little like extra crazy for me. So I know like certain things that I like about the green neon that I might like about other fish, other underdogs. Favorite aquatic plant for me is Anubias. Why? Because I just like the leaf structure. I like that they come in different varieties and sizes. I love the ANP, Anubias Nana Petite, because it's so tiny and it's so cute. And that led me to the love of Buse because it's very similar, very tiny like Anubias Nana Petite. So cute. But the leaf structure I really like, and I like that it's easy. I keep it in pretty much all of my tanks. It does just fine. It doesn't hate me. I don't hate it. And that's really my reason. And then favorite tank size. That's a tough one. You may not have a favorite tank size. I don't think that I have an exact favorite. This is my favorite size. I have a range probably between 5 and 10 because you can keep it anywhere. Keep it on your desk, keep it in your bedroom, keep it in your office, at the office, in the living room, in the kitchen, in the bathroom. You know what I mean? And it's a great size. You don't need a super crazy piece of furniture to hold it. Although a lot of furniture these days they're made really bad. They don't hold really anything at all. So you definitely have to be very careful. Whatever gallons that tank holds, so if you're looking at a 5 gallon, add a 0 at the end, and that's about the weight that it's gonna be. So a 5 gallon, looking at 50 pounds that piece of furniture needs to hold. A 10 gallon, 100 pounds. A lot of furniture is only rated to maybe 100 pounds. So do you really want to get that close? Is that the only thing that you're going to be putting on there? Probably not. So just something to keep in mind. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you gave me some of, if you haven't already, let me know some of your favorites, favorite fish or your plants or tank size, anything. And then what would you recommend to any fish keeper that they should know? Like what do you think is the most important thing that you should know as a fish keeper? I'll talk to you next week.